Here, I think she knows you quite well also.
She does.
Chair Blair, we are good to go on all fronts.
Okay. Let's make sure. I see everybody, so we're good to go. Sit down. Okay. Good evening and welcome to the 6 p.m. City Council meeting for Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present. And before we begin, I would just like to read the chair determination to hold electronic meetings without an anchor location. It reads, in accordance with Utah Code 52-4-2074, I have determined that conducting meetings of the Ogden City Council with an anchor location presents a substantial risk to the health and safety of those who may be present due to the infectious nature and potentially dangerous health effects of contracting the COVID-19 virus. This determination is based on the following. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has determined that COVID-19 is easily spread between or among people who are in close contact with each other through airborne respiratory droplets and may be spread by people who are non-symptomatic. The state of Utah has developed the COVID-19 Transmission Index through a collaborative effort among state and local health officials, the hospital industry, and business leaders. As of February 1st, 2021, Weber County was in the high transmission category, limiting group gatherings to 10 people or less. Based on the foregoing, all public meetings, including work sessions and meetings of the redevelopment agency, will be held electronically through February 28th, 2021. Information on how to connect to the electronic meetings will be posted on each agenda. The public may comment during the electronic meeting in public hearings, on agenda items designated for input, or during the general public comment period. Written public comments may also be submitted through the following electronic options. Telephonic message at 801-629-8158. Public comment submission form at ogdencity.com/public input, or email at citycouncil@ogdencity.com. This statement becomes effective February 1st, 2021. With that, we will go ahead and open our meeting. We've asked Vice Chair White to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise if you are able. And repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair White. Now we would ask those to join with us in observing a moment of silence. Thank you. First on our agenda, we have a couple recognitions. First is Idle Free Week, and we've asked Vice Chair White to go ahead and read that today.
Thank you, Chair Blair. I have the honor of reading this proclamation, declaring February 7th to the 13th, 2021 as Idle Free Week in Ogden City. Whereas, like many valleys along the Wasatch Front, the physical geography of the Weber Valley, where the Ogden area rests, is prone to inversion, which results in poor air quality. This threatens our quality of life and is hazardous to the health, safety, and well-being of our community. And whereas, Vehicle emissions are a significant contributor to air pollution and release harmful pollutants into the air, which can cause and aggravate asthma and other respiratory diseases, especially during times of inversion. A simple method to mitigate poor air quality is to reduce unnecessary idling and driving. And whereas studies also suggest that exposure to emissions may increase susceptibility to COVID-19. The research from Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health shows high levels of nitrogen dioxide and fine particulate matter correlate with higher mortality rates from the virus. And whereas there are many opportunities to reduce necessary idling, such as not warming up the car in the morning and turning off a vehicle in a drive-through while picking up and dropping off children at school, and while waiting for prolonged periods of time at train crossings, drive-throughs, and car washes. And whereas vehicle emissions can also be reduced by planning travel time ahead of time, consolidating car trips, and using other transportation options. Taking advantage of public transportation, walking, bicycling, and carpooling are options that all help to improve our air quality. And whereas those who reduce unnecessarily idling and driving save on fuel costs, conserve energy, and most importantly, contribute to the overall health of our community. Now, therefore, the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell hereby proclaim February 7th to the 13th, 2021 as Idle-Free Week in Ogden City. We appreciate the efforts of our partners, the Ogden School District, the Weber Morgan Health Department, Weber State University, in helping to bring awareness to this important issue. We encourage residents, businesses, and community groups to join in this and other efforts to reduce unnecessary idling and driving throughout this week and the entire year. And with that, I would like to propose that we adopt the joint proclamation. Boy, I'm having a hard time tonight.
Second.
Great, thank you. We have a motion by Vice Chair White to adopt the joint proclamation and a second by Councilmember Chaburka. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. And tonight we have with us accepting, we have Jennifer Bodine from WSU Sustainability, Michelle Harris from the Weber Morgan Health Department, Amber Allred, Arlene Anderson, Jennifer Zundel, Nancy Blair, representing the Ogden City School Board. And I'm not sure if I see any others here, but.
I see Jer Bates on there as well.
Yes, and Jer Bates, thank you. So we would love to provide you guys the opportunity to say a few words. And we can start with Jennifer Bodine, if that's okay.
Sure. I just want to thank the council yet again for adopting this resolution and sponsoring Idle-Free Week. And we are so excited to be your partner in this again, and just say to the public that it doesn't take more than a few seconds to make a really, really big difference. And so as Councilmember White mentioned, if you don't mind utilizing this time to celebrate this week, but also throughout the entire year, let's all work to be idle-free and make our air a lot cleaner. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Do we have Michelle Harris with us? I don't see her on there. Okay. Is there somebody from the school board that would like to speak as a spokesman, or really can allow all of you the opportunity to speak if you'd like?
I can go ahead and say a couple of things. I just want to let the council know that we appreciate their efforts in keeping this on our radar and bringing forth this resolution every year. And yes, we appreciate the work that you do and involving us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to say something?
Chair Blair.
Yes.
Hi, this is Michaela Harris.
sorry.
Sorry, I was having a little bit of a problem with my computer. I apologize.
Welcome. Yeah, no
But I
worries.
thought I'd speak up really quickly and just to say that we appreciate your partnership and we applaud your efforts and we thank you for setting a great example and are happy to support anything and be your support this effort in any way we can. We know we face these difficult times during the winter inversions, but now we're seeing them longer, more drawn out, and even in the summertime with some different particulates. So anytime we can reduce idling, summer or winter, is a good thing. So thanks again.
Yes, thank you. Any comments from other council members?
Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a request to the health board and also Weber State and the Ogden City School District, if they could report back to us on what they experienced with Idle Free Week at their various situations, especially the Ogden School District. If you could report and tell us what happened there and what programs and what success you've had with Idle Free Week.
Absolutely, Councilmember Stevens. We would be thrilled to report back to the City Council on our progress with the efforts and again, expressing our appreciation to Ogden City and the Ogden City Council for leading the way in this initiative.
Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say that I am positive that Councilmember Heyer and Councilmember Stevens would still be carpooling if we were in person. So they've started that a long time ago, and I appreciate that they're at least they do it throughout the year. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
We do, don't we, Doug?
And anytime you want to come by, Rich, we can just go around the block if you want.
Yep, this is a great resolution, and it's something that everyone can do and everyone can take part in. So it's been neat to see, and we're thankful for the partnerships that we have both with Weber State and the Weber Morgan Health Department and the school district. So we appreciate all the partnership and the hard work that goes into this. So, and the efforts that the city council members like Councilmember Heyer and Councilmember Stevens have taken to reduce emissions and better our community. So thank you all. Is there any other comments from council members?
And Chair Blair, I was
Yes.
just gonna welcome and congratulate the new board members, Amber and Arlene. Thanks so much for your service to the community.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Angela. I will say that Ogden is a beautiful city and it's much more beautiful without the orange haze. So I really hope this makes a big difference. Thank you.
Okay, next up is a recognizing Ogden City Recreation Supervisor Ginger Myers for saving a man's life while working at the Golden Hour Senior Center. And we've asked Councilmember Heyer to read this for us. Hello.
Rich, you're
Member
muted.
Heyer, you're on
Oh.
mute.
You know, that so rarely happens, like almost every time. So, sorry about that. I'll start over again. It's my pleasure to make this recognition. The Ogden City Council and Mayor proudly recognize Ginger Myers for providing invaluable contributions to the Ogden community. As the recreation supervisor at Golden Hour Senior Center, Ginger Myers goes above and beyond the duties of her job to ensure the center's guests are taken care of. There is no greater example of this than early December of 2020, when a gentleman did not come to the center for lunch like he had done on a regular basis. Concerned and sensing something was wrong, Ginger tried contacting him. After failing to do so, she then reached out to his emergency contact and left a detailed voice message. The next day, Ginger received an emotional phone call from the gentleman's son, who lives out of state. He told her that she saved his father's life. He went on to explain that after he received her voicemail, he sent someone to his father's house to check on him and they discovered he had fallen. He was unable to move and had nothing to eat or drink for several days. Thanks to a couple of caring phone calls from Ginger, he is now doing well and recovering. His son refers to Ginger as his father's guardian angel. We are grateful for the care and attention Ginger provides to this gentleman and all other seniors in the Ogden community. Her compassion, concern, and work ethic have been invaluable. She epitomizes the Ogden spirit, and we are incredibly grateful for her service and contributions to our community. This is presented the second day of February, 2021. Thank you, Ginger, for being caring and being insightful to the things around you.
I wish we could be in chambers, Ginger, to give you all a standing ovation. That's a wonderful, wonderful story. But thank you.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to say anything or tell us anything?
I'm just honored to really receive this recognition and have the opportunity to work for Ogden City here at Golden Hours, and wanted to thank the council and you, Mayor, for your support of Golden Hours and everything that you guys have done to show us support. And I really appreciate everything that you've done. This is an amazing story, and I appreciate the opportunity for it to be heard.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the service that you provide and for having the wherewithal to go above and beyond. So we appreciate it. And thanks for the service you give to our residents.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ginger.
Any other comments from council members?
Chair, if I might.
Yeah, please.
So I know Ginger not only as an Ogden City employee, but as a neighbor. And I'm not surprised at all by the outcome, because I know Ginger to have an amazing heart. And when you have a heart like hers, when you follow that heart, good things happen. And she's been doing it for a long time, not only for the Golden Hours, but for the youth in our community and for Ogden City for a long time to come, I'm sure of it. So thank you for being you, Ginger. Continue to be you and listen to everything that is the essence of you, because it leads to good things.
Thank you.
Hey, Ginger, would you mind if I'd love to just hear from you directly, just very, very briefly, maybe what prompted you to make that phone call?
I think anyone that's probably been in my situation, that's a tough, difficult question to answer. But really it just came down to a feeling of something wasn't right, and really sided with my gut. And I would rather, be the person that just called and they said, they were running late or something like that. So really just a small feeling I had, and wanted to make sure that that person was okay, and wanted to follow through and make sure that when I didn't get the answer the first time, to follow through and make sure that that we at least knew that this person was okay, and that they knew that here at Golden Hours we were thinking about him and making sure that he was okay. And that's really what a senior center, that's what I feel like I'm here to do, is to make the seniors feel like they know that we care about them, and that we're going through hard times right now with COVID. And so just being that extra voice to let them know that we care about them, and that we look forward to seeing them every day for lunch pickup and things like that. So yeah, I don't know really if there's a different answer, but that's kind of where it led me.
I really appreciate it, Ginger. I love my colleague, Rich Heyer, but I thought it would be a lot more fun hearing it from you directly. But thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Chair, if I could just make a real quick comment in it. Ginger, thank you for all you do and what your service is to Ogden. But I think it reminds us, and at least reminds me of, we need to be good neighbors. And I appreciate that you just once more instilled in us that Ogden is built on people like you. And I just hope that there's a lot of people listening, and will, as Councilmember Nadolski will say, neighbor up. So I really appreciate all that you've done. And I just hope, as you said, during these COVID times, that we all are listening and all just reach just a little bit into our hearts and make sure that everything seems to be going okay with our neighbors and the people that we are in touch with every day. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chair,
Yes, please.
I'm getting to that age when I can qualify for the senior citizens or the golden hour area there, and it's nice.
You might want to get to know Ginger well then. Start buttering up to her now.
Probably would. It's nice to receive the experience that Ginger had. In the world today, we have many stories that are negative, and this is a positive. And it's nice to hear that type. It refreshes our outlook on man. It refreshes our confidence in the human race, and it refreshes our understanding of one another. And I think that's the most important aspect that I think, Ginger, you have, is that you understand those who come to the center. And I hope they appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ginger, would you mind sharing how long you've been working there?
So I've been with the city over 3 years, and I've been over here at Golden Hours for almost a year now.
Almost a year. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I would just like to kind of add, we all have experienced some rough times with COVID, but I do think that is one of the silver linings of this pandemic, is it's made us be a little bit more cognizant of those around us and make sure that everyone, not just you and your family are doing well, but that everyone's getting through. And so I appreciate you, Ginger, looking around and expanding your circle and making sure that everyone that you come in contact with is getting through. I would like to know, do we have an update on how this gentleman is doing?
So I haven't been able to see him because the rehab location that he's at isn't allowing visitors, but I have been able to pass messages through their staff. And we had ordered him some Christmas shoes, and so I was able to deliver those. So from what I'm hearing, he is doing well, very grateful, and is looking forward to hopefully returning to Golden Hours at some point. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Chair?
Yes.
I'd like to be a little adventurous here and see if we wouldn't mind unmuting and just giving Ginger an applause.
Yeah.
So I think we should try a virtual clapping here, if you wouldn't mind. Are you okay with that?
Yep, that'd be
All
great.
right. Thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
that was amazing. Thank you.
Yep, well deserved.
Thanks.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. First, we have the regular meeting of December 1st, 2020. Councilmember Chiburka.
Yes, Chair, I've read those minutes and they're accurate to my recollection.
Thank you. And then the joint work session of December 8th, 2020. Councilmember Stevens.
Yes, Chair, they're correct. And I make a motion that we adopt the minutes that have been presented.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. We have a motion to approve the minutes by Councilmember Stevens and a second by, I'm going with Councilmember Chiburka. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you for reading those. We have one item listed under common consent. It's the consideration of reappointment of Councilmember Doug Stevens to the Weaver Mosquito Abatement District Board of Trustees. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to adopt the common consent item, Chair.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Lopez to adopt the item listed under common consent and a second by Councilmember Heyer. This is also a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
That was a bugger of a one.
Yeah, sorry, that passes. Thank you. Next, we have two public hearings. First is the fiscal year 2021 through 2025 consolidated plan and fiscal year 2021 annual action plan amendment 1. And tonight we have Ward Ogden and Kathy Fuentes to present to us. Maybe.
I guess they got a better offer.
Yeah. They show that they're here. Well, I see Kathy.
Yeah, Ward's right there too.
And Ward's right next. Yeah.
Well, Chair, I guess in light of
Yeah, I just had to find
oh,
my
here we go.
button. I'm sorry.
There we go.
I had to find the button for unmute. I was trying to get my PowerPoint going clearly there. So let's see. Need to get my presenter notes on the. Okay, now I think we can do this. And switch. Okay, it's my pleasure to present the agenda item today, which is an amendment to our action plan and our consolidated plan.
I don't see anything, Ward.
Oh, you're
I don't
not
know if you shared your screen or not, but I don't see anything on there.
I'm going to have to start this again and go here. And okay, I need to hit share screen again. Okay, are we doing it?
Oh.
There we go. Now do we have it?
There it goes. Yes. Yes.
Sorry, this shouldn't be this hard. I need to. There we go. Are we watching it now?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, very good. Each year, Ogden receives an entitlement of block grant and home funds that addresses community and economic development needs in Ogden. And in order to receive these funds, we develop a 5-year strategy for community and economic development known as the Consolidated Plan. An annual action plan is also adopted each year that contains programs and projects and budgets to address the goals and strategies in the Consolidated Plan. The action plan for 2021 was adopted along with the most recent consolidated plan in May of 2020. And the action plan contains an estimated carryover budget and program income estimates. And each year after the year-end numbers are reconciled, the staff has to present an amendment to the action plan, which corrects those and makes them actual carryover numbers and updated program income estimates. We had a work session on this with the council on December 8th, and then we met with our Citizen Advisory Committee also in December, and they made recommendation for the council to adopt these amendments. And then on January 5th, we held a discussion with the City Council, and on January 18th through 22nd, we conducted a public comment period, which is a requirement from HUD. And that's why we are bringing it back to you again, because the public comment period was after the last discussion. So this is basically the same discussion we held on January 5th. And so I'll kind of move through the slides quickly since we've seen this before and there were no public comments. So there's really no change to the recommendation. This is basically the the plan. No recommended changes to the plan. Here's the sources or the basic summary of what we're going to be doing. We adjust the entitlement award amounts. There were some small adjustments made by HUD, and then we update the budget with our carryover, our program, and then we allocate those additional funds. There are two small changes made to programs. One is to add the goal of new housing construction to the Quality Neighborhoods program. And then the other is to increase the goal of Owen and Ogden loans to 50 loans. The sources and uses of this amendment are in a net increase of about $2 million. There was about a $6.4 million budget, and it's now increasing to 8.4, and it's made up in the following ways. We got a new entitlement of CARES Act money from the federal government, and with the small reduction of $311, it amounts to $337,595 in increase in entitlement, and that's being used in the business loan program for impacted businesses. There's an increase in our program income estimate by $955,000, and that is due to increases in home sales, loan payoffs, and then recycling of the program income that we were receiving this year. So we're basically using the same dollar twice in several cases. There's an entitlement carryover increase of $727,000. This is due to the fact that last year we received a large amount of community development block grant program income, and we are required to spend our program income before we draw our entitlement amount. So because we spent that program income, we have a larger amount carrying over than we had anticipated. And here are the line items that $2 million is being allocated to. $80,000 to the infill housing program, $200,000 to the Owen and Ogden program. We're nearly done with our current budget. The Quality Neighborhoods goes to up by $1.2 million, which basically is putting back the program income and carryover that was in that line item. A small adjustment in the HELP program to reconcile for our carryover. And then the business loans and the micro enterprise loans are each being adjusted in such a way that they have an equal amount. So $770,000 in each of those line items. Our administration line item goes up by $212,000, and that's because it's a function of the budget. It's a percentage of the budget, 20% of the block grant and 10% of the home money, as well as 10% of the CARES Act money. So that equals the $2 million where it's being allocated. And this again is the budget that we present each year. This is the budget of $8.4 million now with the line items, and the only changes to those line items are these items in the prior slide. So, and then the small amendments to the program goals, adding one new home project in the Quality Neighborhoods program. And the reason that we're adding that goal there is because one of the homes needs to use our home fund budget, and our current infill line item only has block grant in it. And so it's all we have to do is put the goal of building new homes under Quality Neighborhoods, and that will help us out. And then of course we're increasing the goal of the Owen and Ogden program to accommodate for the new money that's going in there. So basically that in a nutshell is what we've talked about a few times with the council and what we're proposing. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, any questions for Ward Ogden?
Chair, I have just a quick question. I think, and actually Councilmember Chaburk has asked this question, I think in our work session, but what are the prices of those homes that we are redoing or revitalizing. I don't know what the word is.
Sure. Homes that we purchase and then renovate for sale.
Thank
They're-
you.
Yeah, those homes are generally on the moderate to low end of the market. Of course, you know, the market is increasing at this point, but they're in the mid to low 200 range. And they're being sold to households with incomes that are moderate income, 50 to 80% of the area median income.
So Ward, compared with last year, are you working with more money this year than last year, or the same, or what's the breakdown on that?
It kind of escalates a little bit when we recover home funds that we use for a renovation and sale of homes. It's not like we're making a profit per se. It's more that we invest money and then we recover it when we sell the homes. And the faster we can renovate homes and sell them, the more often we can use that same dollar. So sometimes in the same year, we'll use the dollar twice. So it looks like we have a lot more money, but it's really just making good use of the dollars in that fiscal year.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Ward. You know, I've been on the council a number of years, and I've sat in on your report, and you and Kathy are just doing a great job. You can always tell when you've gone into a neighborhood because you can pick out those homes that you've renovated and you've improved, and it just seems like this uplifts the neighborhood and it improves the city. And but you're doing a great job, and Kathy, I'm sure she's right there with you. But you're just when you say you've used the dollar twice, that shows that the department is well managed and you're using the funds correctly, and I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. If there's no other comments or questions for Ward, it is a public hearing, so we can take public input on this. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. Can we have Brandon or Eric explain how to be part of the public input process, and then
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
For those of you who want, yeah, no problem. For those of you who want to participate in this public hearing, you must be joining us via Zoom. You can raise your hand by using the raise hand application on the bottom of your screen. And please remember to limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name for the record.
Okay. So I can see the list of attendees, but I don't see anyone yet raising their hand. We'll give it just a second. Still not seeing anyone raising their hand. I think we're okay to go ahead and take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to close the public hearing on this item by Councilmember Heyer and a second by Vice Chair White. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Chair
That
Bear,
passed.
that should be a roll call vote.
To close the public hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry. My
Okay.
bad.
Okay. And then we'll go ahead and take a motion, or go ahead and accept a motion on this resolution.
Chair, I'll make the motion then that we adopt resolution 2020-33.
I second.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Heyer to adopt proposed resolution 2020-33 and a second by Councilmember Stevens. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Chaburka,
Aye.
Councilmember Hire,
Aye.
Councilmember Lopez,
Aye.
Councilmember Nadolski,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Vice Chair White,
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye, that passes. Thank you. Next up, we have another public hearing for the Glassman Way annexation. And we have Greg Montgomery with us here tonight.
Okay, is that pulled up on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. As you mentioned, Chair, this is a request to annex property, vacant lot at 4753 Glassman Way. The property, when I said vacant lot, it's only a partially in the city and partially out of the city. When the subdivision was approved, Weaver Basin, not Weaver Basin, but the federal government owned a pipeline behind this subdivision that was in the city. And then they determined they didn't need all the property that they had acquired. And so they offered the properties to the abutting property owners that were on Glassman Way. And they accepted, many of those accepted that property, which left part of their lot or potential lot in the unincorporated county and part of the lot which was platted in the city. So this is a request to annex that property. This gives you a view of what that looks like, to annex the back portion of the property. Whenever we look at annexation, we have to look at, is it within our declaration policy? This is something that the state law has, that each city declares what areas can they service when development takes place. And Ogden was the only one who could service this area because the canal separates it from South Ogden, so there's no way for South Ogden to run utilities through that canal piece. And of course, the most buildable part is in Ogden City already. So when this annexation declaration was created a few years ago, we identified that any future development should be annexed into the city. The property owners have petitioned for this annexation to take place. The Planning Commission does a couple things. One is they look at what is the appropriate zoning if this property is annexed, and it'd be appropriate to be the same zoning as the lots in on Glassman Way, to be R18. That is again consistent with community plans and policies. Also, as we look at it, this is the only property that's petitioned, and so this would be the only property we'd consider for annexation at this point. This seems to be a very simple, straightforward, and it's taken a lot longer to annex and get to this point than you'd hope, but because of state law and the noticing periods and all the time frames that take, the proposal to annex this property received a recommendation of approval. During that time frame, the Planning Commission also gave a recommendation to amend the subdivision so this lot could be all in one lot and not divided by two parcels. And that's all contingent of recording that based on the annexation. So the Planning Commission's recommendation to you is to rezone this 8-0 so that that new lot can be developed and built on.
Okay, we also have the petitioner here. I believe Liz Galvez is joining us. Can we, I saw her.
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfect, I can hear you, yes.
I'm not sure how to do the zoning, but yes, thank you. Yes, we're here petitioning. We'd like to change that so we could build a single family home on that and use all of that area.
Okay.
And then we would pay our taxes all to Ogden instead of, right now we're paying some to Ogden and some to Weaver County.
Yeah. Are there any questions for the petitioner, Mrs. Galvez? Okay. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you. Thank
Uh-huh.
you. And thanks to Glenn and to for all the help. We appreciate it.
Okay, this is also a public hearing, so we will go ahead and take public input on this item. Hearing.
Chair, motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Chaburka to close the public hearing and a second by Councilmember Nadolski. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes. And if there's no further discussion or questions, I would entertain a motion for this ordinance.
Chair, I make a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2021-7.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to adopt proposed ordinance 2021-7 by Councilmember Lopez and a second by Councilmember Nadolski. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Lopez,
Aye.
Councilmember Nadolski,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Councilmember Chaburka,
Aye.
Vice Chair White,
Aye.
Chair Blair.
Aye, that passes. Just like to thank the petitioners, Curtis and Liz Galvez. Thank you. Next on our agenda is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding concerns or ideas on any topic. Before you speak, please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Okay. Now some hands are raising. We'll go ahead and start. Heath Sato, the time is now yours.
Hi, everyone. Heath Sato, Ogden resident and business owner. Last week, the mayor spent almost twice as long insulting me as the 9 seconds he spent responding to hours of citizens voting their unease regarding how homelessness issues and the selection of the new police chief have been handled by the city. I'm not here to draw the focus of the mayor. I'm asking over and over that these concerns just be responded to in a meaningful way. He referred to these concerns from the public as, quote, recreational outrage, unquote. I assure you there is outrage in the community, but it is far from recreational. He even spent time seemingly berating you, the members of this council, for your own concerns about the selection process of the new chief. At no point did the mayor spend even a moment answering any of the public or council's concerns. I would like to reiterate that everyone's issues about the selection of the new chief are not about him at all, but about the selection process that left us all in the dark. Last Thursday, I attended the virtual community conversation that included Chief Young, and I was very happy to see the new chief speak openly and knowledgeably when answering questions from the public. It was a refreshing 180 from what we've been getting from this mayor. Anyways, as you know, I emailed the mayor and council a week ago regarding questions about the city's recycling issues that haven't been answered. City Attorney Gary Williams was tasked with sending me an email that placed 100% of the blame on the recycling company the city works with and told me that the Sustainability Committee had no business being told about the matter because it was entirely a legal issue. I am left guessing that nobody told Mr. Williams that the city was claiming the holdup was due to delays and looking into a different technology because he never brought that up in his email. So tonight I'll direct my questions to the council instead of the mayor's office. The questions after the city's response are still: one, why was the Sustainability Committee never even informed that we had run into problems with recycling? And has anything been done to make sure the line of communication with them is more open in the future? If we were actually looking into new tech, isn't that the exact sort of thing to discuss with them? Otherwise, what are they there for? Two, it appears to me that the solution we ended up with, an extension on recycled earth meeting CUP requirements, could have been implemented many months ago. Was the delay due to recycled earth, as the city attorney claimed, or due to looking into new tech? We are getting mixed messages. Number three, and maybe most importantly, not telling us that our recycling was going into a landfill is as good as lying to the public. Why were we lied to? Nobody, not even you, the council, knew there was an issue for at least 4 or 5 months last year. Nobody seemed to know until a standard newspaper article exposed the problem. The public trust was harmed with the city's silence over this recycling issue, and our community deserves better answers instead of this ongoing cover your butt attitude. Even if the answer is as simple as, oops, we messed up, the public is owed an explanation and or apology for this failure to fix the problem in a more timely manner. Thank you, and I'll be following up on this next week for answers if they cannot be answered tonight. Good night.
Thank you, Heath. Okay, let's see here. Next, it looks like Angel Castilla has her hand raised. So go ahead, Angel. The time is now yours.
Good evening, Council. Angel Castillo, Ogden resident, and I'd like to talk about the proposed Second Street honorary name designation for Bingham Fort Lane that was discussed during today's work session. I'm going to read you some excerpts that you've signed on to support via the Utah Racial Compact. We view racism as, quote unquote, we view racism as more than just an individual character flaw. It's a system of ideas, beliefs, practices, structures, and policies that give some people greater opportunity to be fully human and live a happier, healthier life than others. Unraveling centuries of internalized and systemic racism requires bold anti-racist actions and policies now. We likewise pledge to foster cultures of inclusion and in every aspect of our organizations and society while addressing social injustice and inequality and condemning all forms of prejudice, bigotry, and discrimination. We further recognize that we must listen and learn from each other, realizing that as we deepen our understanding of differences, we in turn can be better understood. Now, there are 5 points in the Utah Racial Compact, and it begins with, therefore, we commit to and invite other Utahns to commit to these anti-racist principles and actions. And I'd like to read you point 4 and 5. Engagement. We engage to infect the change. Broader engagement, equitable representation, deeper connection across social, cultural, and racial lines will uphold the principle, nothing about us without us. Number 5, movement, not a moment. Utahns unite behind a common goal to create equal opportunity. We affirm our commitment will not be just a passing moment, but a legacy movement of social, racial, and economic justice. The Diversity Commission gave you direction and insight as to why the proposed honorary street name is not inclusive. And you signed on to this. Just because you don't fully understand something doesn't make it correct. You have an opportunity to do better. Either you fully support the Diversity Commission's direct experience on a worldview that is not yours, or you believe the Diversity Commission is for optics only and allows you to simply check a box. Either you fully support the Utah Racial Compact you signed on to as council members, or you believe it's merely for show and you have no intention of learning why this street naming is problematic in its current form. When the actual former chairman of the Shoshone Nation tells you the potential, quote unquote, potential harm that could be done with this naming, you need to listen. Our nation's history is not pretty. Our ancestors did the best they could with the tools that they had, and you have different tools. You can do better. You must vote to deny this petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Okay, Kevin Lundell, go ahead. The time is now yours.
Hey everyone, Kevin Lundell here, Ogden City resident. I've been tuning into the city council meetings via podcast, so I really appreciate all the hard work that has gone into what it takes to produce a podcast. I know firsthand what it takes to do that, and it certainly makes it really comfortable and easy for someone that's like myself, busy dad, busy business owner, to be able to tune in and hear what's happening with the city council and with the city. So really appreciate that. It's been really nice to be able to tune in that way. I was a little bit frustrated at the end of last meeting with one of the mayor's comments. After many constituents in the meeting before that, and in that meeting as well, spoke about the lack of transparency in the process of finding a new police chief. Again, I think Chief Young is going to be great, but there was a lot of concern about that process. And in speaking to that, his one comment was that he found it disheartening, quote, disheartening that people wanted to make a political platform out of that. And I really want to know who he's speaking to in that moment and what he's speaking about. I mean, after a summer of civic unrest at the intersection of racism and police violence, I think probably one of the biggest decisions that a city could make in the wake of that is who its police chief is. And the fact that citizens and some on the city council would have liked that process to be more transparent, I think reducing it to political platforming was not good. So I'd just like to know, who he was speaking to and what really he was speaking about on that. I personally know this goes way beyond political platforming. I've had many discussions with activists and people of color in our community who have cared deeply about this issue, who knew the police chief was there was going to be a change happening and wanted at least a seat at that table to be heard during that time. And I think at this moment in history, it was really warranted. And for it to be reduced to political platforming was very unfortunate. So also, this back and forth between Heath and the mayor and so-called recreational outrage. I don't think Heath finds it fun. I don't find it particularly fun to have to come on and speak like I did about the homelessness issue. I don't think we find this recreational. And just frankly, he, although doesn't use it in the same tone that I would or many would, he is still bringing up issues that many of the mayor's constituents and your constituents have brought up in the past. So thank you for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay. Give it one more second. I don't see any more hands raised. Okay. I'll open it up to the council. Is there anyone on the council that would like to address? I believe Heath raised some questions or concerns about recycling. If anyone would like to go ahead and try to address those. If not, we can try to get more information for him. Not seeing.
Jared, I don't have anything to say about recycling, but I do want to say something, and I want to address. I appreciate the comments from the constituents, but what they have to realize is that we're a good council and we're a good city because we have differing views, and we are every Tuesday open to an open dialogue, and it's really hard sometimes to be very forthright and have our moral compass displayed in public. And I know that oftentimes our views are differing, but that's what makes us better. We sit and listen and make us, it actually elevates our discussion and it elevates ourselves. And so, sometimes it's really, I know it's differing views from many of the constituents that might participate on our calls, but I feel like we are being very transparent and very open dialogues, and it makes us better. And I know that it does that for me. And so I don't want us as a council to fear that if we say what our heart believes in and what our moral compass is, just because there might be differing views out there, I don't want us to stop having that dialogue amongst the seven of us. And so I hope that we continue to have the hard conversations. The issues that are being brought up on a weekly basis are not easy issues. They're not. Homelessness, affordable housing, And even, sustainability are not easy issues for any city to deal with. And so I just hope the seven of us and administrations hearing this as well is that we can have this open dialogue, because we need to have it, and our city is better for it. So I just wanted to say that for the rest of just for my, I guess, for my standpoint, but please, I hope that we continue to have these conversations.
Thank you.
Chair, I'll kind of chime in. I think maybe I was one of the ones that was, some of my comments were made with respects to new technology that we may be looking into. If I might refresh our memory, it was asked, does any council member want to give their perspective? And so I jumped in and gave my perspective as a member of the COG and the discussion that was happening over there. I am not part of the Ogden City administration, and so I don't know how those decisions were all made. So it can be both. To Mr. Sato's comment, it isn't one or the other. Administration does what they do. Having spent the time on the Planning Commission, the commission doesn't make petitions for petitioners. So the petitioner needed to make the petition that they did, that the Planning Commission finally reacted to get them kind of back in the boundaries that of their conditional use permit, which lets them go until they're not in conformance with it. Hopefully that never happens. Hopefully they stay in compliance with their conditional use permit and can stay on the right side of that. As a council member, I got really excited about this new technology and hope that it's something that we are going to move towards. I don't think it's been ruled out. I think we still are waiting for site visits and evaluation that way. And at that point, perhaps as soon as we have some information, then the Sustainability Commission we might have something to give to them for a response to. But I don't think we do until we get some facts. So that's all I got to say about that. I think that's life as I see it through the perspective that I live in.
Thank you.
May I make comment too,
Yes,
Chair?
please.
I'm sorry. Well, and I just want to kind of echo both of those comments, that sometimes there's many truths to a situation, and sometimes we're all informed at different times about different elements of whatever the issue might be. So I think, there were questions about, has the Sustainability Committee been consulted about what we were going through, even in just the general recycling issue on the worldwide level, the global issue of, not being able to sell certain products, etc. But then, as you read from the attorney, that there was also this legal issue happening. So sometimes when I want things to move in a certain way, we don't always agree on that process, and there's other things behind it that we don't always understand. But yeah, it's definitely frustrating, I think, for constituents, because you do have 7 individual voices trying to represent the best way they can, and then also, an organization that has to run as a kind of municipal government, that sometimes they're just not matched up. So it certainly sometimes, I think, makes it seem like there's not as much transparency as we would like, but I do feel that we are trying as a council to be as transparent as possible.
Thank you.
Chair, if I could make a comment too?
Please.
I just want to comment on, I don't recall the exact term, I think it was recreational rage or whatever it's being used. In my experience, 99 times out of 100, or 9 times out of 10, whatever percentage you experience yourself, I don't know, but most people don't start off mad. There's a lot of people who reach out to us who want to engage, who want to be productive and constructive. And but when they're ignored, we really leave them with very little choice but to become enraged. And that's why I've spoken out so forcefully about the process that we used for the police chief appointment, not because I don't believe in the person that we selected. I wholeheartedly support Chief Young, but because there are a whole lot of reasonable people in this community who have been working for years to have a seat at the table when decisions are being made and when there are opportunities for input. And that effort, that work was totally ignored, and that frustrates me, because when you ignore people, then good, rational, calm, collected, and reasonable voices have no other choice but to become enraged. And I just don't want to see more and more of that in our community. And so, in my opinion, it's a value that I hold, and consistent with the comments that Councilmember White made, we all have a voice, we all have an opinion, and I'm speaking mine, and I invite everyone to speak their own, and I don't hold theirs against them. But it's my opinion that we should be listening to people so that we can truly provide for and serve others. And if we do that, I promise you we'll have a lot fewer enraged people, or there will never be none. That's just the fact. But just because someone's mad doesn't mean they're not important. But I genuinely feel like we have a tendency to make people feel that way, especially when we ignore them. So that's all I've got to say about that. And I hope that we will always do our best to listen to people so that we can serve others at the best that we can. Thank you.
Chair, if I may.
Yeah, please.
I just have a couple comments. So one comment is I just wanted to thank Brandon Cooper for following up on a request I had last week about the restaurant on Wall Avenue and the owner there wanting to get some information and about what's going to happen in that area. And I also want to thank Janine for helping me with that. So thank you to both of them. I really appreciate it. And we got an email a day or so ago, and I forwarded that to the council members and the administration, to Mark and the mayor. There was a person, a lady who had some concerns about drug use and I think burglaries happening in her home. I don't know if the administration has had a chance to look at that. I don't know. It seems to be a reoccurring problem. I don't know if they've had a chance to look at it. And so I'd love to just ask that question.
Okay. Is that everything?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to get those questions answered. I just have one more thing I want to say.
Sure.
For me to go ahead?
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, if this is our kind of closing comments, that I did see that there was an email that went out, as well as on social media threads, that there is a Marshall White Center electronic survey that's been sent out to the community. So if people aren't aware of that, there is, I think it's on the City Council Facebook feed. It's probably on the website for the city. But we really do want some feedback about what the community would like to see for a recreation center. That's all.
Okay.
Here.
Thank you.
Can I have a few comments on that, Chair?
Sure. I was actually going to we haven't got to council comments yet.
Okay.
So if you want to, I was just letting letting us answer people's questions. And I was going to after that, turn the time over to the administration. But if you want to
No, I'll defer to council comments.
Okay, perfect. With that, I think we can turn the time over to the mayor or administration.
Thanks, Chair. In response to Councilmember Lopez's question, we've been trying to have the community policing officer contact her and talk to her. We've also instructed our business licensing department to, this property is a good landlord property, and we've instructed them to maybe do an audit to see if they're in compliance, and just to make sure they have a business license and et cetera. So we're trying a few different avenues to check up on the issues that we've heard that she is concerned about. And I don't have answers tonight, but we are pursuing it from a couple of different angles. And other than that, we really appreciate the recognition that that you gave to Ginger today. She is amazing, and I think she represents a lot of our employees. I think we have amazing employees, and I think that was very special, and we thank you for doing that. And that's all I have tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Now, are there any other comments from council members?
I'll take a few minutes, Chair.
Okay.
I also got that same information that Councilman Lopez, and I appreciate your report back, Mark. And I think it's well for us to maybe review those situations and see if we can find a solution, and hopefully we can reach to that point. The other aspect is on, I got an email from an individual who lives around 4th Street in Pingree. It seems like between there and 2nd Street that there is some speeding going on. And maybe a goal for our city to maybe look at some of those aspects. They say they're going more than 25, which is in residential areas. So Mark, if you could maybe take a note on that, I appreciate that. On Angela, with the Marshall White Center, the goal that the Marshall White Center should be is to serve the people of Ogden. And what I'm looking at is the Marshall White Center to be a center for all of Ogden, not just for a segment of Ogden, for everyone to enjoy. And that's the, I hope that the survey brings that out, that we want the Marshall White Center to be a center and an improved amenity for everyone who lives in Ogden so that they can enjoy that. And if we can maybe tie it to a complete package on rec centers entirely, but it's a very complex issue, and it will take a lot of time to maybe sort through those issues that are tied to the Marshall White Center, but I think we'll accomplish those aspects there. Now, to report on the mosquito abatement, it's a small department, but it's very well run. They are very proactive, and they have the equipment, necessary elements to perform in the mosquito abatement arena. In fact, they are noted as one of the best in the state. And it's a pleasure to serve on their board there, and I appreciate that. So I thank you for the opportunity of doing that. I enjoy associating with those who are on the board there, but I want to let you know that that organization is very well run, and it's well managed, and it is a proactive element. And if you need any spraying, just contact them and respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Stevens. Any other council comments?
Chair, I spent a little time in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, so I become acutely aware of what Punxsutawney Phil does on February 2nd. And at 7:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, he did come out alertly and observed a shadow and declared 6 more weeks of winter. However, how he did that through complete obscure overcast sky is a bit of a mystery to me, but he has declared 6 more weeks of winter. Just thought you might be interested to know that. I appreciated Marcia's comments earlier. I think we've got to maintain an atmosphere where we can have open dialogue. I think we broached dangerously close to the idea, if you don't agree with me, not only are you wrong, but you're evil. And I hope we don't go there. I think that we can disagree and still be good people and work towards a common good. That is my whole concern about this street naming thing, as I hope we can find a way to come together, not to be divided by this issue. And so it appears to me it's becoming more the latter at this point. And I know that's not the petitioner's desire or ultimate goal. I am confident she's going to do whatever she can to make sure this comes together and is mutually satisfying for all concerned. But we got to give people the due respect that they deserve. So that's all I've got to say about that.
Thank you.
Did Puxatawny Phil give us some snow? That would be nice.
They were having snow during the forecast. That's what I thought was really funny.
Chair Blair. Yes.
Do we have a groundhog here in Utah, or I think?
No, we call them rock checks here.
Okay. Okay. Thought that would be.
Go ahead, Councilmember Nadolski.
Thank you. I just want to signal my support and agreement for Councilmember Heyer's comments. I agree with him, and I don't hold his worldview against him at all. I hope you know I do love you, and I always will. I do disagree with you. That's a totally different thing. But I agree with you in that we need to make sure that we have an atmosphere and a culture of honoring and respecting and supporting one another. And it's within that context that I would encourage you to go back, read the packet, read the letters that were sent to us by the Diversity Commission, and think about the words that we just said to one another about honoring one another, listening to one another, and respecting the values of others. And that's all I ask. And at the end of the day, I don't believe that we need to have a 7-0 vote for everything. For me, I have my vote, you have yours, and I'm not going to hold your vote against you, just as I would hope that you wouldn't hold mine against me. Even if I'm on the losing end of any vote, I'm not going to hold hard feelings. I just want badly to speak my values and my truth, just as I'm sure that you wish to do for yourself. And I feel it's important to say what I'm saying, and just as you, I'm sure, feel the same way. So I'll continue to do my best to provide one another for that kind of respect. I hope that we will extend that respect not only to one another, though, that we will extend that level of respect to those that we ask for their input from. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Seeing none, I would just like to also again, I thought tonight's recognition of Ginger Myers was one of those feel-good stories that takes place in our community all the time, and I'm glad that somebody brought that to our attention so that we could all hear it and share that story. And I hope that we have many more heartwarming and uplifting stories, because I know there's many that happen in our community. So it was neat to be able to recognize her, and I just hope that we can recognize all those people that are out there doing wonderful things for our community and protecting those around them. And hopefully it inspires us all to be a little better and expand our circles a little broader to take care of those around us. So if there's no other comments, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair White and a second by Councilmember Chaburka to adjourn this meeting. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you all for being here and for your comments.
Happy Groundhog Day, everybody.
See you next week.
Hey, Marcia.